Hey there everyone, this is Jeremy, the Music Andy, and we're here today to talk about DISCO4 Part 2 from Health. Forming back in 2005, coming from Los Angeles, California, Health is a band that is known for making industrial music, whether that be industrial rock, industrial metal, post-industrial, electro-industrial, whatever you want to say for industrial, these guys have made it. This band is great at blending genres together. They're also known for bringing artists in and having them featured on tracks and kind of playing around their sound, mixing some of their sound, the artist sound that is being featured on this one. There's some very fun artists being on this one, a lot of them being more in the industrial side, like Poppy, 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor. But one of them that really stuck out to me was The Neighborhood, kind of known for more of indie pop, more of alternative R&B. I've only really known about this group in name and just hearing a few tracks here and there when I was younger, but this is going to be the first full dive that I've ever done on an album from the group, so let's just dive right into this album. Dead Flowers is our opener, and we have Poppy featured on this track, and it's just kind of a match made in heaven. Poppy already known for industrial metal, and again, these guys are already known for industrial. There's no really conflicting interests going on this song. I will say that this track in particular is more on the post-industrial side. It's a lot more hazy, it's a lot more atmospheric. There's a lot of guitars kind of slicing through this vagueness and this haziness, and Poppy's vocals match the atmosphere perfectly on this track. It stayed very, very complimentary, and then Poppy just starts screaming on this one. It's completely contrasting, and it really adds for a frenzying listen at the end of this. I think it's a fantastic opening to this album. Isn't Everyone is the second track on this one, and take what I say with a pinch of salt because I'm a huge Trent Reznor fan. I'm a big simp for 9 Inch Nails, so seeing them on this track, I already know that it's going to hit. The way that Trent is still able to create these very frenzied environments and still sound like a snarky 14-year-old with his vocals and his lyrics, despite being 57 years of age at this point, is just absolutely mind-blowing. It doesn't sound like Trent's has lost any steps at all in his career at this point, and I think that, again, he does a fantastic job on this track, especially with the melodies that he's bringing on this one, but you definitely have a lot of the 9 Inch Nail vibes going on instrumentally as well. Some really noticeable things in this track are the just diving guitars that Trent is known for. The synth is going off rhythm a lot. It's becoming a lot more scattered, and there's a lot of volume fading going on in this, making a very dynamic listen going on. It's not the most engaging track that is going to be on this album, because we're going to have a few more coming up, but again, it is still a fantastic listen. Murder, Death, Kill has Ada Rook featured on this one, and if you're familiar with Ada at all from Black Dresses or just solo stuff, known for more of that electro-industrial with some very, very aggressive, brash vocals full of screams, very sassy in the way that it's delivered as well. Great lyrics that are very introspective. I think that they completely nailed it on this track. And then the other feature on this one is Play That Boy Zay, which in this track it's a lot more industrial hip-hop when it kind of switches between these two from Ada to Zay. And I think that they both do a great job of having some nice synergy with each other. They're not very contrasting all the way through, but they have just on the main print of this song, they do sound contrasting, but they are both very rugged and raspy on the way that they're delivering these things. Everything is very brutal on the vocal delivery sense. I think that between them switching off on the mic, the environment is going to change around with it. The track does a great job of complementing them as well as they do complementing the track. Again, I think that these two just have great synergy and they just know how to write around instruments very well. Great job on this track. Identity with Maynard Vale, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry that if I got that wrong. Who is an Italian artist known for industrial techno music, EBM music, the more minimal wave music. I think that this track with them combining together is, again, I'm going to say it again, a match made in heaven. They did fantastic on this one. You got the fuzzy basses, you got the hammer clicks on the drum, and then the fast strum guitar that gets brought into this is super ear-catching onto me. It's one of my favorite moments of this entire album. This is one of my favorite tracks on the entire album. I can't believe I never heard of who this artist was before, but I'm definitely going to be checking them out. I'm very happy that Health featured them onto this track because they wrote something very, very nice. It started off very slow, trance-like, and then it gets into that deeper groove and more explosive, and everything's a little bit more full and robust. Again, there's a lot of excitement to be found on this track. Cold Blood is a track that features Lamb of God on this one. You know, they're known for groove metal, for thrash metal. And the way that this track is going to kind of go is it's going to start into that groove mentality, and then it's going to kind of move into an industrial metal zone featuring still Lamb of God. And I think that them switching between these two genres is very, very nice. It's very seamless. They do a great job of just blending it together. And I'm not the biggest Lamb of God fan, to be honest with you, but on this track, I think that they did fantastic. I think that the drummer in particular from this group, again, like I said, I'm not a big fan of these guys, Lamb of God. I think the vocals on this one can be hit or miss sometimes. Sometimes it really fits the song, sometimes it's a little too much for me. But the drummer in particular from Lamb of God absolutely blew it away. Fantastic work. AD1000 has the body featured on this one, and they're going to bring some drone metal into this, some death industrial, and I really like the moments from the band on this one. Vocals can be as rough and rugged as Ada's were on the track Murder, Death, Kill, but then they can move into a more dreamy, atmospheric atmosphere. Kind of a stupid word to follow up on atmospheric, but this track is then going to turn into almost this tavern-like music. It's very playful on the guitar. The melodies are fantastic, and I think that everything is well written here, but the switch from death industrial to like atmospheric tavern music, it's a little bit of alarming for me. I didn't like it too much. I do love contrasting music, but the switch didn't feel very organic to me. It felt just like, here, take the tavern music and just move on with it. But again, I think this is a fantastic track, even with the ending. Really love the beginning of it as well. We move back to industrial hip-hop with the track Gnostic Flesh, Mortal Hell. We have Backwash on this one, and an artist named, I'm assuming Horror. If we take a look at their name, it's Honnon. So unless it's Ho9909, I'm sorry if I'm just getting it wrong. I think that this is a fantastic track between these two. They have great synergy. When there's two people on one of these tracks, they just are always having good synergy. I think that Health does a good job of combining people and finding sounds that are going to work together and people that are going to match each other well. Both of these artists did. I really think that there's a lot of dynamic moments on this track. It's fully engaging of a listen. The Joy of Sect featuring Street Sex is going to be kind of all over the place. This is a track that's going to be a lot more spaced out than I thought it was going to be. The vocals are going to be played with a lot. They're going to make some very fun moments, some very dark moments. The beginning track is very cool and laid back. It's then going to kind of move into this little bit of a swingy moment, and it's going to have some bright tones on it. I don't think that there's anything necessarily mind-blowing going in on this track, but the screams at the end of this I absolutely love, so I'm just going to say that I like the track. Still Breathing featuring Stacy. This is going to be more on the dream pop side. Very, very atmospheric, dreamy, obviously. It's dream pop. The main center stage for instruments on this one are going to be two guitars that are going to be kind of dancing over top of each other, kind of fighting for your attention. And the drums on this one are going to be a lot more reserved. You're going to be kind of focused on the vocals. For me, this was the one track that, if I were to skip a track on this album, it would probably be this one. I don't think necessarily it's a bad track, but it's just not my mood more so. I like the more busy, manic front end of this one, and this back end is going to be a lot more reserved and dreamy and kind of chilled out. No Escape featuring The Neighborhood. I thought this was going to be a track that I didn't like so much. I don't really like The Neighborhood too much. I only really know the song Sweater Weather and the album that went with it, which was their first album, if I am correct on this one. So a little bit of a bias as I'm going into this one, but I think that they really nailed it on this track. I think that the vocals are very fun on this one. The melodies are great on this one. I think there's some very nice progressions and transitions kind of making the song really full and compact and just a full listening experience of richness. Yes, it may be just kind of standard pop, candy-coated, melodies and lyrics, but again, I still think that they made it work. And both of these bands combining their sounds together made for a very interesting track to listen to. Something I actually look forward to when I put this album on. Excess featuring, and this is just a hard word for me to say. I can't say this word for some reason. Perturbator. I'm sorry, it's just, I really can't get it. I went there on Google and I hit the play thing and I listened on how to say it, and when my voice says it, it just doesn't come out right. But this is going to be on the more dark wave, dark synth style. It almost sounds like Drab Majesty in a sense that it sounds very dark and kind of gloomy on the startup with the bass and the drum. But once the guitars come in, they're super bright, they're super upbeat, and they're definitely catchy. And it makes for a very, again, very rich listen. There's a lot of contrasting things going on here, and the progressions are nice throughout the whole thing as well. And the ending synth that's on this is absolutely beautiful. It's fully engaging. It's just sweeping over across of everything. Great track. These Days 2.0.2.1 is the final track on this one. And it's going to be a lot more upbeat in nature, kind of the way that the back end half has been more reserved, more upbeat. And that's something that I really want to compliment this album. The front half on this one, very aggressive, very in your face. And then when we start boiling down to the back end, the intensity just keeps on getting ticked down and down and down. And I think that the track placement on this was fantastic from whoever put it together. All of the artists that have been featured on this album did a good job of serving their track, staying true to their sound and still working within Hell's sound as well. Again, I'm not 100% familiar with all of Hell's stuff. Their stuff dating back to their stuff in 2005, 2007 on the original sound of when they were just making music. But everything on this felt unique, original, and just very fresh. Some hit better than others and some didn't, and that's okay. This is a solid album. I prefer the first half rather than the second half, but again, I'll take both of them. Why not? I'm going to go 8.1 kale chips out of 10 on this one. Really digging the front half on this one. I really hope to see more from this band. What did you think of this album? What albums would you like me to review in the future? Please leave a comment below. Let me know. Subscribe if you like the content, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.